Good evening and welcome to A-Level Biology at Corfe Hills School. I'm just going to talk to you about some of the content that we do at A-Level Biology, as well as the entry requirements and what your son or daughter can expect really to get out of the course. Firstly, the core content for Year 1 involves looking at biological molecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, ATP and water, cells, plant and animal, bacterial, viruses, microscope work, cell division, mitosis and meiosis, cell membranes and the immune system. We also look at gas exchange with digestion and the heart and the circulatory system, hemoglobin, xylem and phloem in plants. We look at some genetic information, variation and relationships between organisms, DNA and protein synthesis, genetic diversity and natural selection, classification and biodiversity. So we cover quite a broad content in Year 1. That makes up paper 1 of the A-level examination. I'll discuss that in a bit more detail later. In Year 2, students sort of build on some of the content from Year 1, but also have some new content to cover. That includes a section on energy transfer in and between organisms, such as photosynthesis and respiration, biomass and food webs, nutrient cycles, such as nitrogen and phosphorus, how organisms respond to changes in their internal and external environments, such as survival and response, receptors, the nervous system, muscle contraction, homeostasis, including the control of blood glucose and the kidney. They do more on genetics, including evolution and ecosystems, inheritance, evolution and speciation, control of gene expression, mutations, epigenetics, cancer, genetic engineering, DNA probes, and genetic fingerprinting. So there really is a wide diversity of topic areas that we study at A-Level Biology. And lots of these topics do build on what they will have learned at GCSE, although obviously some of those will be brand new. The minimum entry requirements for A-Level Biology at Corfe Hills are a grade 6/5 in GCSE Combined Science or a grade 5 in Biology and Chemistry if the student is a triple science student or separate sciences. That would have to be on the higher tier paper. Now, I do stress that's a minimum entry requirement because, of course, actually the higher grading that the student achieves in their GCSE, the easier they're going to find the transition to A-level. We also ask for a grade 4 in GCSE English, as the synoptic paper 3 does have an essay component, so it's important to be able to write coherently. And grade 4 in GCSE Maths. A-Level Biology has 10% Maths content, so therefore grade 4 in Maths is also really important. We do cover a number of different practical skills in particular throughout the course, and the course has 12 required practicals that are developed throughout the course, 6 in year 12 and 6 in year 13, although students will do more practical work than obviously just those 12. Those 12 required practicals are in a lab book that students will get given, and each practical is assessed around the Common Practical Assessment Criteria, or CPAC as they're known, and different practicals will look at different strands of that CPAC. Completion of those practicals is important twofold. Firstly, they are examined as part of the written examination papers that are taken at the end of year 13, but they are also what counts towards what's called the practical endorsement, which is either given to students alongside their final grading or just not reported at all. So it's not a pass or fail, it's just either they have it or they don't. The purpose of the practical endorsement is especially for those students who want to go on to university and do a science-related degree course where they'll be doing some lab work. It's a way that universities know that they are competent at working in the laboratory and that they have completed certain practical skills that are particularly important going on to university. So that's where the practical skills aspect is developed. Other key skills for being an A-level biology student, I would say good organisation, um, a willingness to use their study time wisely, because actually a lot of the content in biology needs to be gone over, obviously more than once. It's a very content heavy course, so revisiting their lesson material and adding to their notes is really, really key. And obviously enthusiasm for the subject. Hopefully you or they or both are watching this because you have an aspiration to do A-level biology, and I would say if you have enjoyed it at GCSE and you're likely to be able to meet those minimum entry requirements, then I think that you will absolutely love biology A-level. I think if you are genuinely interested in the course and the sorts of topic areas that you are going to study, then this is the right course for you. And we have a good record of students thoroughly enjoying biology at Corfe Hills. Obviously, the grading is done through examinations there. They are taken in the summer of year 13. Paper 1 is the year 1 content. That's what students study in year 12. Paper 2 is year 2 content, so what they study in year 13, or the very end of year 12 into year 13. And paper 3 can be any content from across the 2 years. So that's what we call synoptic, and it includes a choice of 2 essay titles that students have to pick from as part of that paper. Okay, so we resource our students very well for success at A-level biology, and that begins in the summer after year 11 with a transition project. So that transition project is designed to help bridge the gap between the GCSE and the A-level to make that transition in September a bit easier, and we provide them with a Bridging the Gap book alongside a sort of series of questions on particular topics that help support the start of the course. They will get an induction booklet in September, which guides them through some of the key terminology, key strategies for success, the specification, the key scientific inquiry terms, some of the math skills, the microscope drawing, and so on. So that forms part of the induction booklet. That's also available online. We provide them with a maths in biology book, which guides them through the math skills that they will have covered at GCSE maths, but they might need reminding of when it comes to sort of certain aspects of the mathematical skills in biology, such as the graph drawing, for example, or working out percentage error. We provide them with a textbook. That textbook will cover year 1 and year 2, or the textbook may be given separately each year, and then they keep the year 1 textbook into year 13. We also have it online via Caboodle, which they have access to, and Caboodle not only has the online textbook but also has resources, activities, interactive demonstrations, sort of little animations and things that students can use to help support their learning in class. Past papers, we use a lot of past papers actually in lessons or as part of revision, although they are also available on the AQA website. And there's Corfe Hills SharePoint, which is like our online system where we put information and resources, past papers, mark schemes, access to resources used in class, sometimes via SharePoint and sometimes via Microsoft Teams, but another sort of a go-to place for resources and videos as well that are used in lessons. So lots and lots of resources available for help. We also run a workshop every Thursday after school as a drop-in for students to get extra help or a place to sort of study with other like-minded students. So finally, where can biology lead? Obviously, I'd say at this stage of deciding what A-levels you want to do, you're looking at choosing the right A-levels in a suitable combination for subjects you are really interested in. And actually, you might not yet know where your future pathway leads. However, thinking about where biology might be useful might not only help you think about a particular career path, but might make you actually want to study the subject. So obviously science and research, you might be able to read that there. Research scientist, being a biologist, being a forensic scientist, research and development, all those sorts of things is one of the areas that it could lead. Medicine and healthcare. We have a number of students, often each year, who go on to medical degrees from Corfe Hills, as well as nursing, physiology, pharmacology degree programs. So obviously that field is really in demand at the moment, and biology will help with that. Other things, agriculture, police and emergency services. Often we have students pick biology because they're interested in paramedic science. Engineering, biochemical engineering. We've had some students that have been interested in going on to do that, as well as other forms of engineering you can see there. You might not necessarily think that biology would directly link to that, but actually in combination with other A levels, such as maths, for example, that can also be very useful. Another area of sports and fitness, again, another common career sort of aspiration and path that students sometimes take at Corfe Hills, linking some of the sport with the biology A level and looking at being a personal trainer or a nutritionist, for example. It's also useful there. So hopefully this has given you some food for thought on whether A-level biology is the right thing for you. I am happy to answer any questions. So thank you for listening and taking the time to look at this presentation. If you do have any questions, unfortunately I'm not available this evening on the chat function, but I am able to be emailed directly, cconsalvo@corfehills.net, and I would be happy to answer any of your questions that you have via email, hopefully this evening, if not hopefully tomorrow. Also, if you have any other thoughts about A-level biology and where else you can get that information, I'd say our school website actually has a lot of information on it and links and things that you can follow to find out a bit more about what studying A-level biology will be like. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I hope you have a pleasant evening.